One of the country's top high school basketball prospects is bucking the usual trend of committing to a powerhouse sports school, instead choosing to play for historically black Howard University. According to 24/7 Sports, Makur Maker was one of only 28 five-star recruits this year. He turned down offers to play at powerhouses Kentucky and UCLA, instead heading to D.C. Maker explained his decision in an interview with CBS MoneyWatch reporter Khristopher Brooks.
I'm bringing awareness to the contributions blacks have made to society. When you look at Howard Universities, it's a great business school. It's the alumni base is, phenomenal. Kamala Harris, the politics, everything is prestige. But on the athletic side of it, I think five-star recruits should, consider HBCU seriously, like what I've done. And when I went on my Howard visit, I went over there and it was a great visit. But I think, what I want to do is just inspire the youth to take this route seriously. I know it's a different route, but, at least take a visit.
And Khristopher Brooks joins me now with more. Hey, Khristopher, good to see you. So Howard is a fantastic school, but it hasn't made the NCAA tournament since 1992, which is actually 8 years before Maker was even born. So how much will he bring to the program, both in terms of notoriety and potential success?
Well, when he initially gets on campus, a few people's heads will turn. But for Howard, that real sort of boost in notoriety will come after Makur leaves the university. Everybody expects him to be a high draft pick in the National Basketball Association. So it's really a function of how high he goes in the draft. And the higher he goes, the more sort of clout and attention that you'll see going to Howard University, because a lot of students, athletes under him, your sophomores and juniors in high school right now, will say, oh, I can go to Howard, I can go to HBCU, and I can still make it to the NBA. And, in terms of financial success for Howard, that's a possibility as well. You may not see a lot of money initially that first season when Makur is there, but you'll have to wait a few more years when schools like Howard and some of the other HBCUs renegotiate their broadcast contracts with networks like ESPN. And those schools will be able to go to those networks and say, look, we have some of the best talent in the nation. I know you want to stream our games or broadcast our games. We're going to want a more lucrative contract. And so all of these schools share the proceeds of those contracts, and then you'll see a higher amount of revenue going to those schools just for him being there or had been there.
Well, you report that until the mid-50s, what Maker is doing now would not be actually uncommon. How do the schools we see today as these big sports schools start recruiting the top black athletes?
Well, the method was pretty simple. It was offering them a free education, right? Because otherwise, if they went to someplace else, they had to pay their entire tuition, whether they went there 1, 2 years, 4 years. Your Kentuckys and your Dukes and your Wake Forest and Syracuses of the world say, hey, come play for us. You don't have to pay a dime in tuition. We promise that the scouts from all the professional basketball teams will come to the arena or the stadium and watch you play and ask you questions and look at you as a potential draft pick. So our campus is more enticing than going to an HBCU. And that sort of mindset stuck in generations after generations of student athletes. And that's sort of what you see the product of today. Most athletes will go to one of those predominantly white, or what we call the powerhouse basketball schools.
Well, I'm wondering, is Maker's decision, and let's give it also a reality check. As a college athlete, he's not paid if he's going to Howard or to UCLA or Kentucky, but he's probably getting a scholarship at any school that he goes to. And Howard is a fantastic school with an excellent reputation and excellent resources. Is his decision, is that really a tough one? And is it having an impact on any other players?
Well, it depends on your definition of tough, because you're right, in terms of the academics, Howard is second to none. But we're talking about going to a school that will be the feeder to the NBA. And Howard just has not been that school. And like you said, it hasn't been that school for decades, right? So in that respect, that makes it a tough decision. That makes it sort of a unique decision because you didn't pick the school that would normally ferry you right into the NBA. But in terms of the success going forward for him, he'll be good no matter what school he went to. We're talking about a 6'11", probably power forward center in the league who can create his own shot, play make, shoot outside in the perimeter. That's what NBA coaches want right now. So he will be perfectly fine. It's just some of these other schools that are also labeled as HBCUs that have been struggling, that need these other top talent to bring up the prestige and notoriety on their campuses.
All right, Khristopher, assuming that we actually do have sports in the coming year, predictions for March Madness now with Howard having Maker on the team?
Sweet 16. I don't know if they'll go that far, but he's going to pull that team into some prominence. The rumor is that he'll only stay there for a year, maybe two. But even if it's just that 1 year, he's too talented of a player to not put that team on his shoulders and get them into some deep parts of the tournament. Again, we got to assume that the tournament is going to happen one way or other. So we don't even know that.
It's nice to fantasize about anyway. Khristopher Brooks, thank you.